About a year ago, I think it was the beginning of June, I started posting videos on my gaming channel. And after almost a year, I have essentially decided to give it up. When I was growing up, when I was like in my sort of mid teens, I used to watch a lot of YouTube gamers. This would have been around like the early 2010s or so. And it is one of the things that I definitely wanted to do the most when I grew up. It was one of the things that I wanted to be on YouTube. I wanted to be one of the YouTube gamers. And I started out making Minecraft videos on this channel years ago. No one's ever going to see those. They were terrible. I was just using Fraps, and it was the free version, so you could see the frame rate marker in the corner. And I also used to make Sims videos as well. The trouble was at the time I just had like a laptop that wasn't very good at playing games and definitely wasn't very good at recording them either. And I didn't even have a professional editing software. At the time I just had like Movie Maker and stuff. But I thought when I get older and I have a bit of money, I'm going to invest and I'm going to finally buy a good computer that can like play games properly, high end, good graphics, that can also record video at the same time, and I'm going to get a really good headset with a really good microphone, and then I'll finally be able to start achieving my dream. So then fast forward to about 3 years ago when I finally bought my gaming PC, which I've been wanting to do for a long time because console gaming had sort of become increasingly impractical for me. And I thought at this point, it's becoming so much like a less accessible form of PC gaming that I may as well just switch to PC gaming. My friends have switched to PC gaming, and I've been wanting to get into it for a long time, so I finally made that big leap. And I thought, now finally, I can finally start doing this. And I'm gonna start a gaming channel, and it's gonna be awesome. And I'm finally gonna be doing what I've always wanted to do. And because I've grown up watching these kind of videos, I feel like I had a really good grasp of it and a really good understanding of it. And I thought I can finally put all of that to use and be really good at it. But really, after doing it for a year, I've decided to stop simply because over that year, I've been experimenting with different ways of making videos, and I've had to accept that it's not really the thing I do want to do after all. Because being a kid and wanting to do something when you get older is one thing, but then when you get older and you actually start doing it, that's completely different. And for me, I realized that what it involves just is not the kind of thing I want to do because there are so many different things that can go wrong with it. Your screen capture software sometimes might decide that it's actually not going to work and it will only have recorded for like a second and stopped working. Or sometimes I might have accidentally had the microphone switched off, or sometimes I might have accidentally not had the game sound and the voice track separated, which makes it almost impossible to edit. And also, when it comes to playing with a controller, Windows 11 is an operating system designed to be as stupid as possible. And it's the first time I haven't wanted to have an operating system on my PC. Uh, it is the first operating system I haven't wanted to have on my PC, but regardless, I might make the switch to Ubuntu or Linux at some point. I still don't really know much about those though, because I'm not really an actual computer person. I use them. I don't really know the ins and outs of them though, and because of that, connecting a PlayStation 4 controller to the Bluetooth is a very tedious process that I have to do every single time, and eventually that gets tiring. And then like setting up the headset and everything, and also the amount of footage that I have to trawl through to edit a video is another thing, because like the longer I play for, the more footage I have to edit and work with, which is time I could just spend playing the game. And also another thing I found is that it just wasn't very fun. But when I started doing this, I thought I'm finally gonna achieve my dream here. This is what I've always wanted to do. This is gonna be great. Like time was when I was like in year 10, year 11, I would wake up and I had my PS3 controller by the side of my bed, and I would pick it up and I would turn my PS3 on. I'd go to the YouTube app and I would go to my sub box, and there would be brand new videos there from people like the Yogscast and uh, people like what's his name, Kurt J. Mack, who I've always liked, that sort of thing. And to me, that replaced TV. I think I must have grown up watching YouTube more than TV, as opposed to the modern generation, which probably doesn't watch any TV, and it's all just YouTube and TikTok and stuff. Um, and so that was my idea of basically stardom, and that was what I aspired to. But then once I started doing it, there was just something about it that was not working for me. I think a part of it is the fact that I don't naturally have a good personality for doing gaming videos. I tend to be very analytical and descriptive, and I'm quite calm. I don't like faking emotions, and I felt as though for a gaming channel, I had to basically be faking my emotions and things. I had to be, if I reacted to something, I had to sort of overreact to it, and that felt very fake and performative. It's the same reason I don't do trailer reactions, because I feel like being on camera makes me react differently to how I would, and the way I come across, I think like I end up thinking too much about the way I'm coming across, and it just becomes awkward. So I think that's a part of it. And also a part of it is the fact that the kind of videos I wanted to make went out of fashion a long time ago. The kind of videos I wanted to make are long form, uncut videos. Because there are some channels on YouTube that can really edit, that clearly have a lot of time and really know how to edit gameplay footage in a way that makes it entertaining to watch, with like compilations of things and with music, and where they'll take like those sort of meme clips where it's like someone's green screened a certain moment of a video that you can then put over the video, and you can like have someone from a video reacting to it, that kind of stuff. And like if it's a racing game, they'll obviously put like Top Gear and Grand Tour sound bites in there as well. That's not the kind of video I wanted to make. I wanted to make the sort of thing that was more long form, that was more like there was more like you were watching like an actual TV show on YouTube, where it was like a whole level uncut beginning to end, and that would be split up weekly, which is the kind of thing that I grew up watching. That's not the kind of thing people want to watch anymore. And also, the big thing is that I didn't really want to watch them either. I was watching my own videos thinking, this is kind of boring. I'm not entertained by this, and I'm in it. And so after like a year of experimenting with trying to do multiple different things, where it was either the one that I really wanted to do, that was just long form uncut, that I don't find interesting and that people don't want to watch anymore, because those videos were in fashion like over 10 years ago. as gaming and YouTube has become more accessible to people, that's the sort of thing they can already do themselves anyway. And then the other stuff that I tried was like way too performative, and it felt fake to me, and I felt like I was giving the wrong kind of energy and too much of it for it to be a success. Which is why I decided to basically stop doing it. I thought it's something that I would love doing. It's not. Like, these videos that I do, I enjoy making these. I think one thing I'm really good at doing is being able to just riff off the top of my head and talk for a while about a certain subject. And they don't get that many views. I like making them. And I think that they have high value in terms of their intellectual content. If I'm allowed to say that about my own videos. That's why I don't care that not many people watch them. Because I like making them enough to keep doing it. I make these videos for myself, really. And if anyone else watches, that's a good thing, I suppose. I do respond to what few comments I get, but I make these mainly for me. This is essentially just a video diary. With my gaming channel, though, that was a sort of thing where if I don't get any views on these videos, would I keep making them? If I didn't get any views on these videos, I would keep making them. I mean, I get practically zero anyway in comparison to like most channels. But this is the sort of thing where I would keep making them even if I didn't get any views on them. My gaming channel, though, it wasn't the case of that. It was, if this doesn't become a success, I am not personally driven enough to do this for its own sake. That was the difference. I'd play the games and I'd commentate. I didn't think I had very interesting commentary, and I'd watch the footage back when I was editing it. And by editing, I just mean like cutting out errors, cutting out background noise, that sort of thing. And I wasn't actually especially entertained by them. So I decided to stop. And over the past year, it has been an interesting process of accepting that I don't want to do that. That the thing I thought I really wanted to do growing up, having actually done it, is not something I do want to do. And doesn't give me the kind of satisfaction I expected it to. And that's fine. Because adulthood is mainly about finding the things that actually manage to engage you and actually manage to keep you motivated enough to continue doing it, if only for its own sake, if only for yourself, even if nobody else cares. Like with the book I'm writing, that's something that, until I have finished it, is something that only I can read. But I don't care, because I'm driven enough to write it that I will simply keep writing it, regardless of whether anyone else is interested in it. But I have basically had to accept the fact that the thing I thought would bring me fulfillment doesn't. But that's also a good thing, because it means I can remain focused on the things that do keep me fulfilled. And I'm still going to keep playing games. Games are a huge part of my life that I'm never going to give up. This year already I've played Disco Elysium, which I think has interesting characters, an interesting world building, an interesting backstory, and it has a really cool atmosphere, and I enjoy the sound of the narrator's voice, and I think the Foley sound is excellent, and I really love what they're going for with that. I didn't love it. I thought the progression structure was flawed. I don't think the pace was right. And I ended up soft locking myself, and then I discovered, I wrote about this in my review on Steam, I discovered that there was actually, I accidentally came across an ending that is basically sort of failure condition, And when I got the option to just restart from a previous save, I decided I didn't care. So then I started playing Half-Life 2, which I've actually never played before. And man, I am so glad I finally started playing Half-Life 2, because that game, like, whenever there's anything that people call the greatest of all time, it's like, is it? Is it really? I watched Citizen Kane, and I thought it was a great film. I think it is a great film in multiple ways. I don't think it's the greatest film ever made, and I didn't think that about The Shawshank Redemption either. Although I also think The Shawshank Redemption is a great film. Half-Life 2, though, there is a chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there is a chance I will actually decide that Half-Life 2 is the greatest video game I've ever played. Possibly. I'm so glad it's lived up to the hype. It's lived up to the hype in every single way. I've just played the Sand Traps level, and that is probably the single most difficult level in any game ever. And I now have the Nova Prospect battle coming up. And hopefully in these games the levels get easier as you go on, but I know they don't. So I'm now going to be playing through Nova Prospect and seeing how long that will take me to get through, because like Sand Traps took me 8 sodding hours to do. Not that I'm frustrated. Like, that's one of the things I like about the game so much, that it is so difficult, but it is actually possible to achieve. So I'm definitely going to keep playing games. I just don't care anymore about sharing my live, unedited experience with people of playing the game. I just didn't get the fulfillment out of it that I thought I would. My commentary wasn't interesting enough. People don't want to watch the kind of videos that I want to make, and I'm not driven enough to do it without the views. And the kind of stuff that could get views is the kind of videos I don't want to make. So I've crossed that one off the list. I've tried it. I've tried it out. It's not for me in the end. You know, it's like when you decide you want to learn a certain language and you realise, actually, no, I don't want to do this. Whereas with my book, for instance, I've been working on that for 6 years. If I were going to give up, I would have given up by now. I am still tempted to give up sometimes, but then I'll make a video talking about the problem I've been having, and then by the end of the video, I'll have come up with a solution. That's why I keep making these, really, that help me with my own writing process. But occasionally I'll talk about other things, like I am now. So that's where I am. I've crossed that one off the list. That's not a path I want to follow. I've been down that path. I didn't find it interesting. It didn't take me anywhere that I cared about being. So now I can continue on the path that I'm on. And I know that if I ever struggle to really decide what my purpose in life is or what I should do with my life, I've tried that one out and I know it's not that. So that's fine. I just think that not everything a person does needs to be subject to internet content. Not everything needs to be that. In fact, I'd say that pretty much nothing needs to be that. Pick the thing that you understand better than anything and make videos about that, like I do with my writing. Like, I understand writing, storycraft, the writing process, that sort of thing. All the different things that go into it and all the different aspects of it. So that's what I make videos about. For some people, it's gardening or painting or crochet, that sort of thing. I just, as I've got older, I've stopped caring about chasing stardom. And I think that has been really the big change for me. You know, it's the same reason that I don't use social media. I don't need to share absolutely every single thing I do and think maybe this will be the post that goes viral. Maybe this thing will be the thing that makes me famous. I don't care, actually. I really don't care. I'm trying to step back from the internet and use it less often. There's a Discord server I'm in. I'm probably not going to really be active there anymore. It's like this one Discord server that I'm in. I don't really care. And I've unsubscribed from YouTube Premium, which means videos I watch are going to have ads on them again, and hopefully that will actually disincentivize me from watching YouTube so much, So I don't know if I'm going to bother watching really anyone's videos. Um, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to take a big step back and just touch some grass for once. You know, I'm trying to do more reading. I've started listening to albums, like actual CDs. There's so much music out there I haven't listened to on actual CD that I want to do. So that's really part of that much bigger change for me. That I just don't care about absolutely everything I do having to be content on the internet. You know, I want to live in the real world again, and I think that's a good place to leave it.